Alright, what's up guys? It's John here with Malevolent with returning guest, Other John. And Other John did pretty well today with kind of a cool deck, Ray, aka Ear. What does that stand for, Johnny?
Regenesis, Argostar, Eldlich.
And you went X1-1 today?
I went X1-1. My draw should have been a win, but I got greedy and got punished.
And table won the final round, so deck did pretty well.
Yeah.
I see it.
So starting with the Regenesis stuff, you have to play 3 of the best card. Without it, honestly, the deck doesn't operate. It searches spells and traps. I play 1 of the Omni. All you need is 1 because you don't want it by itself. 1 of the Bounce. If I am to dead open 1, I'd rather it be him because he can tribute himself. This has to tribute another 1. And then with Blue Eyes running amok, I played 1 of the Dragon. Just be able to set up the True Light pop every turn is just really strong. 3 Regenesis so that you see these guys. 3 Regenesis Code so you see these guys. And 1 of the Trap. I prefer to go for the Trap, but ultimately, since the deck is mostly a back row deck anyway, I tend to go for the Omni Negate to stop the blowback cards. But if I can set up properly with the Argostar stuff, that gives me the negates I need for the back row stuff, so the Trap becomes pretty strong. For the Argostar, 3 of the best card. This card says that the turn it was summoned, your opponent can't respond to your continuous traps activations or their effects, and so you just kind of look at them and go, I'm going to play. She's also a rescue rabbit where you banish her as cost to place 2 of your Argostar traps from your deck face up, so you just get to play with everything. She has another effect that didn't really come up a whole lot today, but you can banish her from the hand if you control a continuous trap card and make 1 monster on the field go to 0 attack. The only time it almost mattered was against Dinomorphia because they can make my life points lower than or equal to their life points, but they can't make it 0, and I can make them 0. So comes up every once in a while, but ultimately you'd rather just have it negate banished because a lot of the cards require them to be banished. 3 of the new card that made me want to play the engine again. This is just a quick effect Rhoda. It also has the ability where I think you can banish it to target 2 cards on the field, including at least 1 continuous trap, and return them to the hand. That never actually is relevant. All that's relevant is that it searches, and if you happen to have a trap monster on the field, you can immediately normal summon any warrior from your hand, which is kind of cool. 2 of the field spell. 1 is arguably enough, but given how much this card actually gives you, I like the ability to be able to recycle them themselves if you need to, and so I like playing 2. I guess I should explain. This is how you negate a lot of stuff. Anytime your opponent activates a card or effect, you can take your traps, and as their monster effects, they put themselves back in the spell and trap card zone. And when they activate that effect to do so, once per chain, these targets to negate a face-up card your opponent controls, so you start to negate whatever you need to negate. It also has a burn effect that isn't really relevant. It's really the recycling and the negates. 2 of the Searcher, 1 of the best card in the entire deck. Arguably, you could get away with 1 and 1 because ultimately you're only ever getting access to them with the monster, but I like playing 2 of this just in case. It gives me a little bit more freedom to link this away or send it to the grave with Eldlich and still be able to play, or put more on the field. It also feels really bad when you open the 1 of and you can't really do as much. So getting both, you place both of them. This, then you discard a card to summon and search the field spell, which basically puts up everything that you need. This is a bunch of bounces, this is a bunch of negates, and you just kind of go from there. I play 1 of her. I don't like her. I was testing her out today. She didn't really do a whole lot, so you could probably cut her. I play 41 cards anyway, so she might just end up getting cut. Eldlich, I play 2 Golden Lords. I'd rather play 1, but there's a bunch of banishing of graveyard, so. 3 Eldland. This card says search Eldlich. And Eldlich is 2500 attack, which means it's fodder for all your Regenesis stuff. They also say original attack of 2500, and so even if you summon them and gain the boost, you can still summon all of the other ones from your hand.
That's funny.
It's pretty cool. I play 2 Sanguine. The deck is not really as trap heavy as you really think it would be. At least not with the Eldlich stuff. This card kind of sucks because it zombie locks you, which interrupts a lot of the Argostar and Regenesis stuff. +2 is all you end up needing with the new card, which is Elixir of the Glorious Golden Land. It's also a trap monster, but it has 2 different effects. You go pay 800 to either set one of your banished Elixirs or Golden Lands from your banish, or you summon it, and if you control an Eldlich when you do, it's a non-target bounce. And so playing 2 allows you to really recycle a bunch of your stuff. Because you recycle so much, I play 1 Huaquero for Fiendsmith stuff and 1 Conch because it's just the best card. Arguably, this is all you end up needing, but you need to be able to banish to get access to this stuff, and this doesn't do that.
So is it okay to use the Argostar cards to send for your like Eldlich and stuff?
Yeah. So that's why I like playing 2 of the ultra rare, is because sometimes you end up in the position where you need to get rid of this, and if ideally you got access to the field spell, which allows you to then recycle it if you need to. The entire point of the deck was to just recur everything you possibly could.
Gotcha.
And so everything kind of has the ability to recycle one way or the other. That's it for the engine stuff. I play 5 non-engine, 1 prosperity because you need to see things, 1 talents because you need to see things, and if you get hand trapped, you're in a bad way, and then 3 fuo because you need something for going second. I can usually power through a good board if I get enough cards to do so, so being able to just load up my hand usually guarantees the win. Yeah. For the extra deck, most of it is pretty irrelevant, but the key cards that are important why I want to play Eldlich is this guy. This card is Link Decoder, but better. You basically just send a light zombie to the graveyard to contact fuse into him. So long as Eldlich is either on the field or in the graveyard, which he always is, you're almost always just sending Eldlich for him. It's a way to get Eldlich back in the grave so you can recycle him back to your hand and resummon. And if this card is sent to the graveyard by any means, it summons an Eldlich monster from graveyard, deck, or extra deck. And so you can even play the 1 Mad Lord. This card can't be destroyed by card effects or battle, which is pretty cool. Also really big in a Snatch Steal. Because you can just turn the Eldlich into the Fallen Angel, you can link it off, set up with whatever you're linking into, and then still recur even more. And so it ends up being 2 bodies, just like Link Decoder was. Other important things, Typhon. Redoer is really cool. So you can actually set up the Redoer first turn with the Argostar stuff if you want. With the trap, you end up searching the Rhoda, and since you have a trap monster on the field when you do so, you just search another of the warriors and then normal summon it. That's 2 rank 4s, and so you immediately get access to the non-targeting putback, which is pretty cool. 1 SP because it's SP. I played 2 rabbits. I think I only ever wanted to go into it once. It's almost the entire extra deck is pretty irrelevant as is, but I want to be able to get access to the stuff that I want. And since the Eldlich Elixir Golden Land thing has the ability to summon itself as a monster, you can set it off this and just utilize the effect to continually reset things. I wanted a card to win in time since I was originally going into this with the idea of playing a trap deck, and if I was going to play Gustav, I wanted to play the OTK. Ultimately, you're killing them faster anyway. Everything's level 10, so it's pretty easy to go into. Originally, I had some really cool ideas with this card where you would link away your Eldlich into this guy, summon back the Eldlich, and then link them into this. This summons back the Eldlich, you get a free draw. There's other combos that you can do with this deck and the Black Awakening that let you set up the big Mayakashi so Malice can't use any of their banish effects, which is cool. But at the moment, I wasn't too worried. Ghost Ship is really cool. I put 2 in because why not? This card recurs things. Yeah, it lowers attack. I never made it once. Ultimately, I went into this extra deck maybe 4 times, and it was almost always just these. And lastly, I played a random Akashic Magician because I was going through my binder looking for another card to play, and that was there.
Fair enough.
So, as far as the side deck goes, it's pretty simple. As it looked, there's not a whole lot of board breakers, there's not a lot of hand traps, and so it has a hard time going second. if you lose the die roll, game one is almost always over. I lost all 5 die rolls today. It was great. And so the entire side deck is nothing but going second cards, except for 3 Solemn Strikes, so that you can swap out the Swallows for when you go first. Phantasme says draw cards. Most of it is just good generic stuff, generic hand traps, things that I want to be able to draw into off of Wallow. So a lot of nibs, a lot of Bestials. And then the really funny card is I play 3 Lava Golem. Ideally, you want to normal summon your Argostar, but in some cases it's not worth it. The cool thing about this is it's a 2500 defense, which means that you can use it for all your Regenesis stuff. And they only say that there has to be a monster with 2500 attack or defense on the field, not yours, so you can Lava Golem your opponent and then just start summoning all your stuff, which is pretty cool. It's just another board clear for on negates and stuff.
Alright, sounds good. Any changes you'd make?
Aside from the probably taking out the super Argostar thing, not a whole lot. The extra deck obviously can be more fine-tuned to what we'll end up seeing places. I want to put in access to the Mayakashi stuff. However, it just requires me to actually find those cards. So.
Fair enough. Alright, thanks a lot, man.